Fresh off the pre-release of the iFly 737 MAX 8 for Microsoft Flight Sim, we wanted to know a few things about iFly, where they came from, how they started, what have they been doing, what will they be doing in the future, and so forth. So we had a chance to ask iFly a few questions about their entire operation and how is it they ended up doing the MAX 8 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. One of the first things we wanted to know from them is how long they've been in the industry. According to iFly, Flight 1 was formed in 1998, but development on various projects had already been ongoing for several years prior. Many of those involved in the MAX have been in the industry for 15 years or more. We also wanted to know how many members were on the team developing this MAX 8, and they said that they are 8 team members who are full-time or under contract at different levels of the project itself. As many of us know, iFly started and developed for P3D and FSX, so they've been around for a while. But how is developing for Microsoft different than any other sim? While Microsoft does offer some great improvements in rendering, the sandbox environment and the lack of C++ support is quite challenging, said iFly. We also wanted to know, why did they choose the MAX for its first enter into Microsoft Flight Simulator? They said it's because it is one of the most popular aircraft out there with an amazing cockpit. This plane will be in the skies for many, many years coming. It was also highly requested by Microsoft Flight Sim customers. For such a fairly new airplane to the market, we wanted to know how they went about getting their reference materials. We are told that many on the iFly team have extensive knowledge of the 737 series. They also work with a team of pilots that are actually rated on the 73 MAX as well to get all their reference materials. The 73 MAX is a very complicated airplane with additional features and things that the 737 NG does not have. So we asked them, what is the most challenging part of this project? They said that pleasing everyone is the most challenging part of this project, but rewriting code from the ground up for Microsoft compatibility has been a major challenge as well. It's an entirely new developmental mode they have done compared to what they did in the past in FSX and P3D. And on that note, we also wanted to know, how is developing for Microsoft Flight Sim different than any other sims? They said that while Microsoft does offer some great improvements in rendering, the sandbox environment and the lack of direct C++ support is quite challenging, which seems to be a continuing theme among developers for Microsoft Flight Sim. Now that the 73 MAX has been released, we're now wondering what's going to be on the roadmap for iFly. What other planes have you guys developed, including other sims? Flight 1 said, in terms of a Flight 1 iFly, we have developed these aircraft, the 737NG, the 747-400, the 747-8 for FS 2004, for FSX, for Prepare 3D, for the 737NG and the MAX. Also advanced series for Prepared 3D version 5. After this, Microsoft development commenced. One of the major questions that we get all the time from the Flight Sim community when we fly the iFly MAX, they want to know, will the MAX be released for 2020 or 2024 or both? And iFly reassured us that the MAX will be released for both. But not having seen the Microsoft 2024, they cannot give timelines at this time. Based on what we heard from Asobo, the porting will be quite easy for Microsoft 2020 aircraft in a legacy mode. We will then look at Microsoft 2024 for specific features, said iFly. We also wanted to know how far they have gone with development of the MAX and asked them, are there options including to simulate failures in this plane? And their answer is resoundingly yes. They said you can go into the EFB and set failures. You can select random failures and also reset them if needed. Now, another big question is, after this plane is over, are there any other planes in the works from iFly? iFly said they have plans for additional development, but don't want to discuss those details at this time. The Max 8 from Microsoft is the core focus at this moment, considering it has just been released. On a side note, we have to mention that most of the iFly developmental team are not English speakers. So we had to go through a third party translator to get answers to many of our questions. But regardless of if they speak English or not, they have done a wonderful job on the iFly Max, and we will be flying this plane for a long time in the future. Shout out to iFly and the Flight One team for taking the time out of their day to giving us answers for this project. So we can now go ahead and enjoy the plane, which is now in a pre-release. Basically, anyone can get the plane if they wanted to. They are working on it. They are working out the bugs, and this is going to be a great plane to add to our hangar in a Microsoft Flight Simulator 20 and eventually 2024.